But when you look at this lineup as a whole, it still kind of feels like we're missing something. And I think that Pete Alonso does bring that to this lineup. The issue, though, is obviously how much money is being offered, how much money Pete thinks he can get on the open market. We're already in February. I think that a lot of people have kind of set what they think the market is for Pete. He's definitely one of the best power hitters in the game. The one problem with a guy like Pete at around his age is that a lot of teams don't view him as somebody worth making a long-term commitment to. I think a lot of people view him as a guy that is really good for 3 to 4 years, maybe 5 max, but they don't want to make that long 6 or 7 year commitment. And I think we're seeing that play out. And that's why I think Pete, as of now, as of the time I'm recording this, hasn't signed a contract. The one thing that I will say is that I think that Pete on the Mets fits a lot more than a lot of these other teams, because I think that if he goes to any other team, especially if he goes on a short-term deal, if he goes to, say, the Blue Jays, he's going to end up being, along with Santander, the big bats that they sign. There's going to be a lot of expectation put on Pete to perform. So if he signed some type of deal that was, say, 1 or 2 years with option years and all that, that might not necessarily be the best move he could make. If he comes back to the Mets and he signs a deal like that, he's probably playing on a team that knows itself, not only knows itself better, but also kind of knows him. And because they obviously had him here, Stearns was here last year, Cohen's been here the last couple years, obviously, Lindor, Nimmo, all these guys. If he comes here, I think there could be a comfort level that he wouldn't have elsewhere, which could lead to him having a good year, which could let him opt out at, say, the end of the year and get a big deal, even if it's for, say, only 4 years. So I think that him coming back to the Mets makes a lot of sense for him. I also think it makes a ton of sense for the Mets, simply because you can bat him, behind Soto. For me personally, the ideal lineup that I would love to have would be Lindor 1, Soto 2, Pete 3, Nimmo can bat for. I'm not a huge fan of Nimmo in the cleanup spot, but just to kind of break up, make it lefty righty, you could have Nimmo in the cleanup spot, and then maybe Vientos, and then go from there. Or you could swap. You could put Vientos third. Well, that's one of the things that I was also thinking. Lindor 1, Soto 2, Vientos third, and then Alonso fourth. I think that's an option for this team that would be fun. But I think that Pete fits on the Mets this year. And I think that the Mets, if they really want to get where they want to get to, I think having Pete Alonso on their team would help.